Here's Dr. Jane again, and I'm going to read you another book from this lovely little series. And let's see. The Lions, the King of Beasts, the Lion Family book. Here we are, the Lion Family book. Again, want you to be sure it's by me. And so here we go. I'll never forget the evening 3 male lions invaded our camp. That was me and Hugo. Our African cook, Anyango, was preparing supper when suddenly he looked up and there was a lion's head stuck through the tiny kitchen tent. He threw pots and pans at the lion. Luckily, it went away. Another lion investigated the cook's sleeping tent. The tent was zipped shut, so the lion tore a hole in the side with his powerful claws. Finally, all 3 lions came prowling around the tent where Hugo and I were waiting for our supper. And then, luckily, they wandered off into the African night. They were just curious. Until a few months before, they'd lived with their family group or pride. But when they were almost grown, the adult males of their pride had pushed them out into the world to find their own food and their own females. I knew their pride well. Hugo and I were camped in their hunting grounds on the Serengeti Plains in Tanzania. There were 3 lionesses, 2 big males and 6 half-grown cubs. The 2 males, Leo and Simba, were brothers. Once they had roamed on their own after being driven out of the pride where they were born, and now they had a pride of their own. Tawny was about 9 years old. The other 2 lionesses, Amber and Jade, were younger. The 6 cubs were all that remained of the babies that had been born the year before. There had been 13 to start with, but the African plains can be cruel. Many cubs die because there's not enough to eat, or they're killed by other hunters like hyenas, leopards. The 3 sisters, Jade, Amber and Tawny, usually hunted together. First, they looked for a small herd of wildebeest, zebras or antelopes. They placed themselves around the edges of the herd, always making sure that their powerful cat smell was not blowing towards the animals. Tawny was the most experienced and often selected the prey. Which one would they chase? She would creep forward inch by inch, getting as close as she could before charging. It's an amazing sight to see a lioness stalking. She uses every tiny shrub or tuft of grass to break up her distinctive lion shape. If one of the prey looks towards her, she freezes until the animal relaxes and begins to feed or move again. And then she suddenly charges, a streak of golden fur and powerful muscles. Tawny would chase the prey towards one of the younger lionesses, who made the kill. I always hated to watch them killing other animals, but they had to eat, and usually they strangled their prey quickly. Then the lionesses fed, eating as much as they could before Leo and Simba charged up and took over the carcass. Male lions usually leave the hunting to the females. It's harder for the males to hide because of their great manes. And since they're so big and strong, they can easily keep the females from feeding until they've eaten their fill. But when Amber, Jade and Tawny killed a very large animal, Leo and Simba would let them share. The youngsters always had to wait until the adults had finished. The lions of a pride are very friendly with each other. After feeding, they lie close together, dozing in the shade of a tree. When they greet, they rub up against each other and purr. Yes, they purr like cats. On the Serengeti, there's a long dry season when no rain falls and the plains become dry, brown and dusty. The lions find it hard to get food. Yet Amber got fatter and fatter, and I knew she was going to have babies. She had 3. For 4 weeks they stayed hidden away behind some big rocks, blind and helpless, just like newborn kittens. When they came out and began to play in the sunshine, they tumbled and tripped over every stick and rock, learning to walk, like our babies. Soon they got stronger and more agile and played just like kittens. They chased insects, pounced on leaves that blew in the wind, and jumped onto each other and rolled over and over. What fun they had. Amber left her cubs on their own in the den while she went hunting with the pride. When she came back and called to them with low mewing sounds, they tumbled out with little cries of pleasure. She licked them, rubbed her huge head against their tiny bodies, then rolled over on her back so that they could suckle. Afterwards, they curled up and went to sleep. When the cubs were 8 weeks old, Amber led them to join the rest of the pride. The 6 young lions were the first to investigate the new babies. The cubs spent a lot of time playing, wrestling, chasing, pouncing, and swatting. Almost everything they did in their games served as practice for the stalking and hunting skills that would help them survive as adults. When Amber's cubs were a little older, she'd fetch them after a kill had been made so they could learn to eat meat instead of just drinking milk. She'd growl and snarl at them when they tried to suckle and bat at them with her paws. These cubs were lucky though. Jade, who wasn't their mother, would always let them nurse from her. The females of a pride always share responsibilities in this way. Sometimes Leo would let the little ones play with his tail. When he began to get irritated, he waved his tail just like a cat. And then the cubs pounced more and more wildly, and he got more irritated and waved his tail faster, and in the end, he usually snarled and hit them away with one of his huge paws, but he didn't hurt them. The year-old cubs were now learning how to hunt and followed the lionesses when they went hunting. At first, they were more of a nuisance than a help, but gradually they got better. This was especially important for the young males, who would soon be driven away by Leo and Simba and forced to fend for themselves until they found females to hunt for them. Leo and Simba are young and strong and well able to defend their family from roaming rival males. At night, the air is often shaken by their great roars. I can't do it very well, but it's Amber, Jade and Tawny joined the chorus. The roars die away to those low coughing grunts. From the far distance, the voices of the other lions reply, rising above the sounds of the African night, the calling of hyenas, the lowing of the wildebeest, and the high-pitched barking of the zebras. Magnificent, beautiful, and free. No wonder the lion is known as the king of the beasts. Just look at him. Lions are becoming endangered. Their habitats being destroyed. People still go and hunt them just to put their heads on the wall. Isn't that awful? But we're going to do our very best to protect them. The king of beasts, beautiful, magnificent, and designed to be free. Thank you for listening.